Well, hello, everyone. Another day, another dollar, another plate of fried chicken, and maybe a bowl of, I don't know, mashed potatoes, potato salad. Oh, that sounds good. Hi, I'm Eva Marie Everson. I am with one of my favorite sidekicks over here, Miss Jane Jenkins Herlong, and we are, there she comes. We are Southern Mamas Be Like. We like to talk about Southern mamas.
Yes.
We have been talking to some great authors, and we've got another great author today. Her name is Kimberly. Let's bring Kimberly in.
Hello, Kimberly.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Kimberly. I forgot to ask you this earlier. You pronounce your last name Absher?
Absher.
Absher. Hey, I'm doing good because
You did great.
We do tend to butcher names in the South. We butcher the.
Put too many syllables in it.
We sure
Oh,
do.
yes, I have a friend who moved here from California, and she called it Dahlonega. And I said, oh, no. It's Dahlonega.
Lanaga, yes.
Bless her
Yes.
heart, darling.
Oh, Dahlonega. Oh my goodness. We have Micanopy, Florida, and we get Mechanope and all kinds of funny words. It's an Indian or Native American, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let me tell you all about Kimberly, because we're not here to talk about anything but Kimberly and her Southern mama or her Southern grandmama or maybe a great aunt or an aunt or whatever. Kimberly writes clean and wholesome romance, and she loves writing Southern women's fiction. Yay! We like that, don't we, Jane? She's already got some novellas out, but she's got a novel releasing next week, The Heart of the Deal. And then right behind that, book 2, A Blizzard of Wishes, will release. And we're going to have all that information for you at the end of our podcast with her website and how you can get in contact with her. But for now, welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
Okay, Marie, I know you're going to ask the first question, and
I am. But actually, I did want to say that Kimberly was born and reared in the Atlanta area. You got Atlanta, and then you got Atlanta, and it just depends on where you're from in Georgia.
Hot Atlanta.
As to how hot Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, Kimberly, I'm old enough. I remember going to Underground Atlanta for fun. So
Yes.
yeah, that's how old.
Original Underground.
The original Underground Atlanta. Yes, ma'am. All right. So here's the first question. It's very important. How do you spell mama? M-A-M-A or M-O-M-M-A?
I'll be honest. When I was a little girl and I learned how to spell at 3, it was M-A-M-A. But as an adult, M-O-M-M-A.
Oh, so that's a divide. It's divided. It's divided, Jane. You get like a half a point. I get half a point. We lost Jane. She got so excited she went away.
You won ahead.
So yeah, so we're just gonna have to split that point, I think.
Okay.
So, because she started off one way, she learned it the correct way, and then she went rogue. I
saw the light.
But I am keeping score. So Jane,
I know
you got the next question, honey.
Yes, I'm just savoring the M-O-M-M-A finalist. Thank you, precious friend.
You are welcome.
Okay, so do you have a special story, Kimberly, about your mama or your grandmom or some Southern woman special in your life?
I have several, but the one that has impacted me the most, I grew up during a time, living room and dining room off limits, guest only, formal occasions. My mom was born in 1931, so she grew up doing all the formal things with the silver and china and all of that. So I didn't dare enter those rooms. I would be one look and I knew I was in trouble. But I outgrew my Barbie townhouse, and I played prolifically with Barbie. And she would allow me, if guests weren't coming over, if we didn't have things coming up, to set up my Barbie story worlds under the dining room table and keep them going. They were detailed. I had to have the room set up just so. But I had this multi-generational family saga going on within my Barbie group, and it went on for days on end. So she broke her rule of presentation is everything. I'll let my kid do what she wants to do under the dining room table and stay occupied. But what I didn't realize then, and as I look back now, I was already building story worlds. I was already doing the character development and crafting the multi-generational family sagas that I love writing. I remember I had Bionic Woman. I brought her in as the grandmother because I didn't have any more Barbies to bring in. And then I stole my brother's G.I. Joes because, all the girls need a boyfriend.
Yes.
So, that's what I remember. Of my grandmother, it was her sayings, her handmade, her apple hand pies, as she called them. And she lived down near the airport. So my siblings are 10 years older than me. After elementary school, they would pick me up, and my oldest brother, who could drive, would pile us in the car and say, let's go see Nanny. And we could drive from Stone Mountain, where I grew up, to the airport in a matter of 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I would get so car sick, my brothers would have me count the airplanes. And then my grandmother would greet me with a hug and apple juice and one of her hand pies.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, apple juice is supposed to be very soothing to the tummy. Jane, did your mother have the formal living room, dining room? I know mine did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, mine didn't. We were poor. We didn't have anything. We had our TV, black and white TV, had one of those color screens on it where everybody's face was purple and orange, and that was so pathetic. I lived in a tenant house. We didn't have anything.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, that we had the formal living room and dining room, but I'm like you, Kimberly. My mother would let me. I would go in there and was allowed to play from time to time. I couldn't play, but I could, take my Barbies in. I'm just like you. I had the ongoing saga of Barbie land. But I would also journal. She would allow me to journal. We kind of talked about this briefly, but how did your mother or your grandmother shape you as a writer? I mean, I think you kind of just shared a little bit of that, but is there anything else in particular that you can think of?
They spoke to me like I was an adult. Because I had my older siblings, because I was the youngest, they carried on conversations that I so wanted to be a part of. I was a very opinionated child and an opinionated adult. But if I didn't understand something, they would explain it, on my level. But for the most part, conversations went on as an adult. And I think that helped my vocabulary. Yeah. And just nuances. My grandmother, she was all about the manners and the menus and the grit and the grace. She would polish the silver and starch the linen, but then on occasion she would go and dip the snuff. And I never knew. I was like, what is she doing? This refined woman.
Yeah.
Spitting in a can, and I'm not understanding.
Right.
And it showed me how layered we are. We have different sides and different facets to us. Yeah. So I always found that fascinating that she would be so elegant and refined for company and events and go and dip snuff.
Yeah. I had the two grandmothers like that. One dip snuff and the other was the refined. Yeah. So
I love that. I mean, they sound like balanced women to me.
Yes.
How about?
Yeah, I mean that's like not being afraid of who you are,
right?
Because so often we put on these airs, we pretend to be someone, and yet this was a woman who was not afraid to tap into both things that she loved. She loved a good dipping of snuff, and then she also loved her silver and her crystal and her linens and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So nothing wrong with that.
I do. Yeah, wait a second. I do have something about formal. When we had good company, Mama would say, "Get out the folding chairs with the cushioned bottom." There you go. And get the pimento cheese and pull the lid off and get the jalapeno. Yeah. So that was fancy company.
Oh yes. That was the good stuff. But you know what, Jane? I mean, there's so much. I mean, in all of our stories, Jane, Kimberly, there's so much richness in the South that I think sometimes it's so hard for us to explain how multi-layered Southern women are.
Right.
And we are.
Right.
Yeah. And I love all these folks that are bringing us stories and sayings, which is my next question, Kimberly. Tell me about a favorite saying. We've had some doozies, haven't we?
We have.
My mom used to tell me when I would get snippy, she'd say, honey, you catch more flies with honey. Don't you ever forget that.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to catch flies.
No,
But,
I know.
yeah, it was like gross.
Yeah.
So, she had to explain to me, the sweeter you are, you'll catch more people. But she also would say, if you're going to do it right. Mm-hmm. And she primarily put that towards entertaining. So behind the scenes, she would teach me how to set a formal table. Because when she instructed me to do it, she said, do it proper, do it correctly. So I don't have to go in there and change everything at the last minute with people showing up.
Yeah, exactly. And then make you feel bad. Like, you don't know what you're doing. So it's important then to teach a child correctly.
Right.
The Bible even says that. I don't know that it had anything to do with forks, but.
And then my grandmother, the one who dipped the snuff, would say, I swanny. And I said, well, I thought, is she fussing or is she praying?
Right. Yeah.
Could be either or.
Yeah. It's either or. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mother would say, "Oh,
I can't repeat what my mother would say."
Oh, right. Yeah.
Quite colorful.
It was a little. Yeah. That's the other thing is sometimes we to find a Southern lady in that time period that had the foul mouth, maybe the occasional foul mouth, but rarely the foul mouth, because I don't know, didn't matter where you came from. They were quintessentially ladies, it seems.
Right.
Yeah. Even if they were dipping snuff. I mean, I never heard my grandmother say a cross word, but she had that coffee can sitting next to her that she would spit her snuff into. Oh, right. I was so glad when that went away. So happy. So we did talk a little bit, Kimberly, about your latest project, which is coming out next week. Tell us a little bit more about that.
The heart of the deal is about a photographer. She's an event photographer, and she feels unseen. She's a little bored with what she's doing, and stashed away in a portfolio that no one has ever seen are these terrific landscapes of the Australian outback, a wedding she just photographed in Turks and Caicos. She's got a great eye, and what inspired that for me, I met Herb Ritz at an art gallery opening in Atlanta 30 years ago for his Africa series. Oh. And he was if you were talking to Herb, you were the only person in the room. He was so gracious and kind, but his work left such a mark on me. It was so beautiful that I've carried it around, thinking of from time to time. And he's the one who inspired this photographer's story. She feels unseen, and she slips those landscape pictures as a thank you to her college roommate whose wedding was in Turks and Caicos. She slips a few in just to say thanks. And her friend is actually an art curator. She goes nuts. Her brother is a secret billionaire. They've all been friends forever. And he ends up funding the first art gallery exhibit. And of course, the sparks fly and all the things for the happily ever after. But
yeah, there's your romance.
It's fun.
Well, now on to dovetail off of that, what about any advice you would have for writers?
Oh, if they are a follower of Christ, then my friend, God has tapped you on the shoulder and wants that story that's developing in your heart to come to fruition more than you do.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I would say, because God did that to me, and it was 15 years ago, life happened. It was what it was. And I was reading women's fiction and a little bit of romance, but more women's fiction with a side of romance at the time. And I'm sitting on the beach and I'm looking out, and God downloads this story to me. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know anything about writing. And yet everybody around me has always said, you need to write. And I journaled it, because I journal, and I always have a journal with me. I wrote all the bones about the story down. And then I said, okay, where do I start learning? And I think the most important thing, learn the craft, read in the genre especially, but read outside of the genre to get some story structure points.
Yeah.
Read, never stop learning, apply what you learn, and write. It may be a paragraph that day, and that's okay, but apply what you learned. Write a page, write a few pages, but never stop. You might not be 15 years like I was. Like I said, life happened. I shelved my writing for a long time. I thought, God, I'm just going to bury it because nothing's going to happen with it. I'm okay with that. I said, if you want these stories to come to pass, you're going to have to resurrect them. And he did. You know, I studied the stories in Women's World magazine, and that's where I got my first big break.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited. Love meeting another Georgia girl.
Yes, it's been an honor, ladies. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kimberly. We've loved having you. And so we've got some more coming up, Eva Marie. This is an exciting day.
Yes, we do. And so we will see you next time on Southern Mamas Be Like.